Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Inspired by Her podcast. I'm Kay, and if you aren't yet, you should be inspired by her. Today's guest is Tavell.
Hi,
Introduce yourself and then let them know who you are.
I'm Tavell. So I'm 23 in the military, and I'm a mother at that. And then I'm just a woman of Christ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is somebody I'm really proud of. I love watching her content from like being in the gym, your school journey, military, all of that. I'm just like, so how's everything going now?
Everything's pretty content. It is kind of difficult with balancing everything with
Mhm.
2 internships. I am a single mother. Gym, trying to fit the gym in as well as the military in
Mhm.
school. It's a lot, but God definitely has ordered my steps for it to be a little bit mellow
Mhm.
and for everything to just be organized, easily flowing for me.
So let's go back.
Mhm.
College. Wait, did you went off to the military before you started school,
No.
right?
So I graduated high school in 2019. I did
Mhm.
2 years at JCTC.
Mhm.
And I believe after the first year is when I decided, like, oh, I'm going to join the military. So I had to
Okay.
take off basically a year. And then once I came back in 2021, I believe, I ended up going back to school, finished my last year at JCTC, transferred to U of L, and then I'm in my last semester as a junior. And then I
Mhm.
have one more year, and then I'll be graduating.
So what was it like going off to the military with a daughter?
So it was very, I guess, like scary at first because she was only 2.
Mhm.
And then, like, with me being a single parent, she was always with me, like,
Yeah.
no one else. So, with me leaving, it was like a sacrifice that I knew that it was going to be scary, but it was beneficial not only for me, but her in the long run.
Mhm. So when you were away, how was it managing that
Mhm.
emotionally? Like, 'cause I know sometimes when you do stuff that's going to be good for you and the child, even though it's good, you still have
Right.
moments where you're beating yourself up or you're like, you're missing them and you're kind of could be telling yourself some negative stuff or
Yeah.
maybe you weren't. How was that for you emotionally being away?
Yes. So, the first 2 weeks, I was going through it. Like, I
Mhm.
was a crybaby. We didn't have our phones for, I would say, the first 2 months. So, with that happening, it was just constant, like, worry. I didn't have pictures of her. Like, I didn't have anything to go off of but our memories. So, when there was times like, it's in a very stressful environment coming
Mhm.
from a civilian life where I can do whatever I want to do, act the way I want to act, to going into more of a structured environment on top of not being with my child and getting yelled at, it was like a lot. And I had to like literally just like remind myself every day that this is what I'm doing it for my child. And it was times where I wanted to quit. Like, I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
I wanted to. Like, I told our drill sergeant, I was like, I'm ready to go home. Like, I'm ready to go. Like, you could just cancel all of this, forget school, forget what I came here for. Like, I got to go home to my baby. But they talked to me and it was like, it's gonna take longer for you to leave by quitting than to getting through and finishing. And remember, you did this for your daughter. So after I got a little bit like content with like, okay, I got to think more positive about
Mhm.
it. I miss her. I know she misses me, but we're gonna be good for the rest of our lives if I do this. So
Yeah.
it's pretty much what happened.
So it's one thing to hear about the military and it's
hmm
another thing to go describe it in your own words once you like go off.
When I would say, let's see, how can I describe that? I would say it's more of like life. I would say life changing, and some would
Mhm.
say like, oh, I hate the military. I went through my phase of like, I do not like this. I'm ready to
Mhm.
get out. But I got the mindset it is what you make it. So if you
Mhm.
show up every day, like with me being in the National Guard, it's only like one weekend a month and 2 weeks out the summer. And sometimes I have to leave. Like April, I'll be gone for a whole month. But it's more of like I go in with a positive mindset, as in this is what I'm gonna do, this is what it's for, and I'm coming back home. But I did before I joined the military, I wasn't completely not structured, but I was a little bit of a hothead. So
Mhm. No, you're fine.
when I joined, it was that's why I described it as life changing because when I joined, I went from I can do whatever I want to. Somebody say something to me, I'm gonna say something back to when now somebody could talk to me crazy.
Mhm.
People could say whatever they want about me. I got dealt with yelling in my ear for 3 to 4 months. So
Mhm.
I learned to be a little bit more mature and structured with how I handle things.
Mhm.
So I would say that's pretty much what it is. It's life changing. It definitely is.
Yeah. So what's the I see like a difference in your journey with going off and everyone else that I
Mhm.
like see on social media. It's kind of like when they originally go off, they go off for like however long they do. And then
Mhm.
when they come back, a few people I feel like they get up and they do like you said like twice a month or
Mhm.
something.
Once a month and then 2 weeks out the summer. So there's 3 different
Mm-hmm.
types of, I guess, military when it comes to Army, and I
Mm-hmm.
believe Air Force. There's National Guard, which, like, you serve your state as
Mm-hmm.
well as the U.S. Army. But, like, if something was to happen, a natural disaster in Kentucky, we would get activated, like the Breonna Taylor situation. The National Guard was there because they serve Kentucky, and that is 1 weekend out the month, and then 2 weeks out the summer. The reserves is pretty much the same, but you can serve in a different state. Like I could be in Tennessee instead of in Kentucky for that 1 weekend and 2 weeks out the month. And then active, you live your 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, Monday through Sunday, 365 days a week, living military life. And I just did not want to do that.
Yeah. So did you work the Breonna Taylor situation where you had to go out? What is
I
that?
didn't. So I
Oh.
did not do that. I actually made the decision to join the National Guard while all of that was going on. And my mom was like crying once I went to a recruiter because she seen what was all going on. And something happened with one of the National Guard soldiers, like shooting somebody. And
Mm-hmm.
it was crazy. And my mom was like, I don't.
Oh, okay.
Downtown. Yeah. She was like, I don't want you to be involved in that. Like, some of my family looked at me as a traitor, like all kinds of things. It was a lot going on in my family
Are
at that
you
moment.
saying like police because you wanted to go that route? Like they would wow.
Working for the government, like I hear it still to this day that I sold my soul to the government. Like, friend, like some people joke about it, some people are serious, and I've learned to like shut it out at this point because
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing.
So when they say it in a joking matter, how do you know, like they say take the playful jokes like kind of
Mm-hmm.
serious. Is that
Yes.
what you do or you kind of don't?
Um, I feel like I have to like see how the vibe's going and how it's said.
Mm.
But like I think the people's closest to me, when it comes to like my best friends or people that are like very close to me, they don't joke about that stuff because,
Mm.
they understand what I did. Now, people who don't know me and they try to like throw that little comment in or it's surrounded by other things with politics,
Yeah.
I know that it's serious. And that's something I try to avoid debating about is politics and religion. Like, I would not
Mm-hmm.
debate with anybody about those
Yeah.
two things.
That's good. So I feel like you got really into the exercising and stuff when you went off.
Yes.
Because when you went off, you wasn't like you came back body on sports mode. So was that where like the working out obsession came from? Because you came back like in shape.
Yes, it did. Like when I first went there, I was out of shape. Like
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say like physically. Some people think when you're out of shape, they think that you're overweight
Mm-hmm.
or your body is big. Being out of shape is just not being active. Like I
Mm-hmm.
could be so little and still be out of shape, which I was.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got in there, they had us doing so much, like so many push-ups, mind you. I'm little, arms is fragile, don't know how to do a push-up, running so much, but then eventually it started becoming easier. It started becoming like peaceful to me and seeing how my body changed. It was more of a confidence booster, not just on the outside, but on the inside too. Like
Mm-hmm.
I could go to the gym right now for like 30 minutes and feel like my day was productive and go home, go to sleep. But just
Mm-hmm.
because I went to the gym, it made me feel way much better than just
Yeah.
laying around all day.
Right. Do you feel like a difference when you work out now? You don't feel so like tired and wore down. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I noticed that like when I'm like performing or something, I could be doing it for like 5-10 minutes and I just
Right.
feel out of breath.
Yeah.
Does that eventually go away with like more exercise, like the out of breathness that feel?
Yes, it does. And I said a lot of cardio helps with that. We
Mm-hmm.
used to, and still to this day, when I'm like running, I try to run a lot. I either run or do like stair climbers or something like that. And I sing songs or I talk out loud. Doing that, trust me, girl, it's gonna help you a lot. It is.
Got it. So when you come back from the military, what was next after that? Like when you come home?
hmm So what was next was I got like a little ceremony with some other people that was called to serve Kentucky Guard. Then
Mm-hmm.
I got assigned to a unit. My unit was actually here in Louisville before I changed. before I changed. And then once, oh, is he gonna cut this out?
He can edit,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. So I'm gonna start. So when I got back from basic training in the AIT, which is like my military job training, I got assigned a unit, and we had like a ceremony at that unit. And my unit was actually here in Louisville before I switched to a different unit. And it was pretty chill. That unit was a lot, and I
Mhm.
had to leave because it was messing with me mentally and emotionally and spiritually. So it was best for me to leave. And now I'm at a different unit, which I absolutely love.
Do you mean just like negative environment, kind of? Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's why I said sometimes it is your mindset and sometimes it just is your leadership. A lot of
Mhm.
people in the military go through toxic leadership, and that is a lot to do. Like, that has a lot to do with why people leave. Like, our retention rate is so high of people trying to leave and get out, or like suicides. Like, there's so much that goes on in the military that they try to cover up.
Mhm.
I dealt with a lot of racism when it came to me, and there was a few other African American soldiers that I had, and the girls that I hung out with, some of the guys, they're all out as of right now, and I was glad that I made like they got discharged from the toxic leadership. But I'm glad I changed units in the time that I did. That way, I could still serve my country and still fulfill my purpose that I had to do when I first joined.
So for anybody watching that wants to go into the military, let them in a little on what your job is monthly, like what you go in
Yeah.
and do.
So, my job is I am a logistics specialist. I deal with a lot of parts that my maintenance needs. If they need anything, they come through me. We order it, or we'll have it on hand. They take it, sign the papers. It's pretty much chill. It's in the office. You don't really be in the field, so it's a plus. You don't got to be outside. And then there's a lot of great travel opportunities with that as well.
So how did you get into logistics? Like, did you choose that job or what happened?
So I was not originally a logistics specialist. I was a culinary specialist. Don't recommend it. I was a cook basically. It is very hard labor. You barely sleep. You feed sometimes 250 people, 300. There is an environment where you can be like actually in the kitchen on more of a chef type of environment, or you
Mhm.
can be outside in the field where it's just like heat and serves, which is kind of like a whole bunch of like frozen meals that you serve people while they're like sleeping outside. I don't recommend it, but if food is for you, cooking is for you, people is for you, do it.
So did you mean like outside, like cooking for the people while they were like actively fighting? What did you mean by that?
So, with
Wow.
me being National Guard, it was just more of like we didn't have to go fight or anything since we were here in Kentucky. We would just sleep outside sometimes in like tents or on cots in trucks. Basically, we slept outside
Mhm.
for 2 to 3 days,
Mhm.
and we would feed them from like a mobile kitchen, for example. Now, people who go overseas or like they get called to fight in the war, that is totally different. They will have to serve soldiers that are actively fighting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. So when you go into work, that's what you're doing, like on the weekends.
Yes, that's what I'm
That's
doing.
interesting. So for like the logistics, was it like a class or anything you had to go to learn that?
Yes,
Mhm.
so with me switching what they call MOSs,
Mhm.
I have to go to school. So that's what I'm going to April. Another part of my school to get actually 100% certified. As I am certified right now, there is courses that you have to go through that they teach you a little bit more into depth than what you learn hands on while you're at your unit.
So is it hard to manage like all the education with like what you're majoring in as well? Like both of them? It's like
Yeah.
you have two different things you're studying. You have to remember.
Absolutely. It is. It gets very difficult with me being in school for marketing, and then military is logistics. That's two totally different fields. And then with me going to school next month, I will still be in school full time with marketing. So basically, I'm going to school twice at the same time with the double amount of homework and tests and quizzes. But I'm gonna try to manage.
So are you still working with all of this like a job, like another job?
Yes, so I'm
Wow.
also an intern at GE with marketing and consumer insights.
Mhm.
I pretty much gather data from our customers, our consumers, and figure out how we can expand our brands within our like. There's different segments. We have a whole bunch of different things going on with GE when it comes to our appliances, whether it's kitchen, washer and dryer, just little small things that we use. So with me having to gather data with that, sending out tests to our design teams and doing a whole bunch of that stuff, I do
Wow.
have. And then I'm also an intern with U of L Athletics doing sports marketing. So I
Mhm.
facilitate games, do fan interaction, social media content with them as well.
So, which intern do you like most? Like the business side with GE or like the sports?
Honestly, I would say the sports.
Mhm.
It's a different feeling, and I love like the competition. But when it comes to that, it's very competitive when you're trying to get a career. With me, I want to eventually work in the NBA, NFL, MLB,
Mhm.
but I know it's kind of risky. And then also with GE, it's just I never knew consumer insights was a marketing thing, so it definitely opened the eye that that would be something I would grasp towards as well.
So that's another thing that made me so like happy to interview you because when I was at Kentucky State, I had
Hmm.
went in saying like when I went off to college, I wanted to pursue
Yeah.
business and I wanted to do marketing specifically. And so I moved back to Louisville, went to JCTC for a while,
Hmm.
never even made it to like my classes that was concerning
Right.
business or
Yeah.
marketing or anything. It was during COVID. We switched to online. That wasn't for me.
Hmm.
And yeah, so then on my side, I wanted to do entertainment with me being into
Yeah.
music. So like that type of marketing. And I don't know, I started questioning it, like, how would I get an intern here with it being entertainment? And like,
Yeah.
sometimes when you're in college, you question, like, are you gonna get a job after you graduate? Blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely.
And so I didn't stick that through.
Hmm.
So when you started posting that you had got 2 interns, I was like, I'm happy, like
Yeah.
happy as hell for you. Cause it's
Thank
like,
you.
I can't understand the feeling of like doubting yourself and then seeing somebody else live it through, like,
Hmm.
okay, it is possible. So that's why I like
Absolutely.
watching you when you show like an inside of like
Yeah.
what you're doing. So yeah, it's like a completely different turn. That's where I wanted to end up, and I ended up starting in healthcare, working there,
Yeah.
and then now I'm in school for nursing. So I'm like, that's different because I didn't see myself doing that
Exactly. Yeah.
all through high school. I was wanted to be business.
Yeah.
It's just something I like about a person pulling up in their business word and getting
Yeah.
some shit done. Like I don't know what
Absolutely.
it was. So I took a whole different turn from what I wanted to do. But I'm happy that you're doing that.
Thank
That's different.
you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So let's talk U of L.
Nice.
So before you joined like the marketing side, was you always a U of L fan, or like did you become a fan once you joined the school, or how did that work?
So might get some backlash off this. I was not a U of L fan. I was definitely U of K all the way.
Yeah.
And once I started going to U of L, like my first year from transferring to JCTC, I still was a U of K fan.
Hmm.
But once I got into sports and I was like, I go to this school, so let me apply for their internship with athletics. I strongly became a U of L fan. But
How long
yeah,
did it take to become real from like, okay, I'm really a U of L fan now?
I would say maybe like 3 months into
Yeah.
the internship
The
when I
passion started coming in.
yes, once I
Yeah.
started seeing like I started my internship at the football season. So once I started like seeing myself get a little bit riled up when we were losing or if something happened, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm a
You
fan
you
now.
you a full
I'm a
fan.
UofL fan now.
So what do you do when they play in Kentucky? Was you at that game?
I was, and I was a U of L fan for sure.
Okay, that's
I was a
okay.
little nervous though. I was like, because we were doing so good, and I think we got so many like fumbles, and I was just like disappointed. But the game was like super close, so I was still proud of us because we could have won it. We are gonna win this year. Sorry, and yeah, it was pretty cool though.
So what is your job when you're on the sideline?
So there's so many different things that you can do. A lot of it is just like during like timeouts or half times we facilitate that. So where you see like peanuts getting thrown in the crowd or you see halftime shows or people being recognized for awards or I'm trying to think like my first thing that I did was the kids kickoff. So it was like a 5-year old, 6-year old, 9-year old. Once they kick the ball from the little tee, the kid runs on the field, grabs the tee, and bring it back to me. So we do a lot of community interactions as well. We may invite some kind of step show or Black History Month with basketball. We did a lot of the D9 fraternities and sororities come during a halftime show. So we just facilitate basically the whole game when it's stuff to entertain people.
That's interesting. Wow. So you want to go off and then do MBA?
Yes.
Wow, that's good.
Hopefully.
So I think this was before you transitioned to U of L. You was
Mhm.
kind of like a double major, I think, with like marketing and healthcare. What made
Yes.
you make the switch? Like just throw that off, leave that alone.
So I went through, I think I switched my major like 4 times.
Yes.
Like I went through a lot of phases of like not really knowing who I am or what I was passionate about to like,
Mm-hmm.
I went for political science first because I want to be a corporate lawyer. And I was like, school, that was too long, not for me. Switched to nursing, that was during COVID, but it was more about the money rather than having the passion about it. So I was like, I don't want to wake up every day doing something that I'm going to dread, regardless
Mm-hmm.
of how much it pays.
Right.
Went to finance, too much math for me. So then I stuck with marketing. I was like, this is me. I like to present data, but I was still working in healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
So I eventually ended up leaving the job that I was working at U of L. It
Mm-hmm.
paid nice, but I was like, I got that intern at GE and I was like, this is what I want to do. Regardless if it doesn't pay as much as what I was getting,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
something that I'm passionate about and that I can take once I graduate. So that's pretty much what made me switch to just focus on marketing and all.
Mm-hmm. So with being a mom and having all of this going,
Mm-hmm.
to anyone out there who's like a mom and they're just scrolling past this, I don't know. You know how when people are new to a journey, they overthink it when they're not in it yet.
Absolutely.
So like someone's pregnant right now and they're stressing out how they're going to manage it. Do you
Mm-hmm.
have let them in on your day of how you manage all this with a kid?
Absolutely. I would first say being a parent, being a mother does not come with the manual. It doesn't come with the handbook. Like there's so many times that you feel like you may fail or that you're not really a great mom or you're not a great person. There's times where you feel like I'm the best mom ever. Go through those emotions. By the end of the day, you're learning just as if anyone, as the baby's learning. You're literally, I don't care if you're 35 and you have your first kid. I don't care if you're 17, 18, having your third. I don't know what's going on. It doesn't matter. Each altercation, each child, each step that you take in life when becoming a mother is different. Just as the kid is growing up, you're going to grow up as well in different areas that you didn't know. Also, take time for yourself. That's number one. Like, you cannot be a great mother or a great person to anybody if you're not great to yourself. That's one thing I tend to focus on is making sure that I do have mommy time. I do communicate that with my daughter as well. She's very aware of like, hey, mommy's going out of town this weekend. You'll be with your grandmother. She's like, okay, cool. Like she knows because I also prioritize mental health in my household. So she's very understanding of what I have going on, whether it's work, whether it's school, whether it's just me needing a break from life in general. And then, so the two things would be to always prioritize yourself before prioritizing anything, anyone else. Don't feel guilty for putting yourself first if you're a mother. And then, secondly, to always, what did I say? He gonna have to cut this off.
Um, you said prioritizing like mental health and stuff and putting yourself first.
And then I think that, oh, the handbook. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
He gonna cut this out, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's gonna be a blooper. I'm so sorry,
You're
girl.
fine.
Okay, so always number one, prioritize yourself, and to take time for yourself because in order to be the best person to anyone else, especially your child, you have to be the best person to yourself. And number two, being a parent, being a mother does not come with a handbook. Don't feel guilty for bumping off or falling your head. Pick it back up and let's keep moving.
So everyone like has that thing that like what you're passionate about, you want to instill that in your kid, or what you
Mm-hmm.
feel like you didn't know, you want to instill that in your kid. What are some things that you're like adamant on teaching her?
I teach my daughter a lot about mental health and effective communication
Mm-hmm.
because when it comes to a lot of Black households, when you express how you feel or you say something that you feel like did not come out correct, it's seen as disrespect, back talk, be quiet. You're a kid, your feelings doesn't matter. So I
Mm-hmm.
went through that whole phase as a kid, not having a voice.
Yeah.
So I grew up angry, grew up not understanding why I felt the way I felt, just lashing out, or not even know how to speak to people in general, not being able to be vulnerable. About vulnerability was being weak. So now
Mm-hmm.
that growing up and I have a kid, I learned all of that while having her. I make sure that she knows, hey, if you feel like I came to you a bad way, or you feel like anybody or any adult came to you a way that hurt your feelings, respectfully communicate that, hey, mommy, I didn't like the way you yell at me, or hey, I didn't like the way that you said this. And it gives me a chance to reflect as well, because I may spaz out sometimes
Mhm.
and not know it until she's like checking me a little bit. Mommy, why'd you yell at me like that? And I'm like, oh, my bad. And then we take our little breather, we come back, we speak about it, and I learn, she learns, and we move forward.
Mhm. So when you say like growing up angry,
Mm-hmm.
when did you in your adulthood, sometimes you don't realize stuff about your childhood until you're adult and you say,
Right.
wow, I was this way when I was young. Wow, I was
Mm-hmm.
really, you don't know. When did you come to realizations of those things?
If I'm going to be honest, I'm 23 now. When I was 21,
Mm-hmm.
probably 22. If I'm going to be completely honest and transparent, it took me a while to accept that certain things was the reason that I acted up. Like, I didn't have my father in the household.
Mm-hmm.
Really didn't think that played a part until I'm like, okay, whatever. He wasn't around. Cool. But then once I realized that I'm super independent, or I don't know how to have a stable relationship with a man, I don't know how to back down and express how I feel. When it came to certain things like that, I'm like, oh, this is why I react angry, because I don't know how to open up to a man. I didn't have a father to set that tone for me. I didn't know how to be treated from a
Mm-hmm.
man. So it took a lot of bumps in the road and a lot of heartbreaks and disappointments for me to be like, okay, now I know my worth. Now I know how to communicate. Now I'm able to say how I feel and not feel guilty for feeling the way that I feel.
Mm-hmm. So let's get into that part,
Mm-hmm.
because you do like advocate a lot of healthy relationships and stuff.
Yeah.
When you came to that realization of like, okay, I don't know my worth in this way, that way, that way. What
Mm-hmm.
was some ways that you felt like you failed at no, or like rather, what was some things that you've done that showed, okay, I shouldn't be doing that, and by doing that, I don't know my worth. I'm settling for less.
Absolutely. I had a big thing with wanting attention from men. Like it, and I would have first, if someone would have told me this, me saying this now, I probably wouldn't be able to say a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
When I sought validation from men, and I realized, okay, like they think I'm pretty, or I think I'm this, and it was only on the surface level of what I could give them, or anything sexual, or just talking about lusting over my body, and
Yeah.
it was not giving me more than that. I was like, okay, so what am I doing? Like, where am I going wrong? I had to like question myself of like, what am I doing? I can't blame that person because I'm allowing this to happen. So I had to like check myself and be like, okay, all these failed relationships, all these failed talking stages, I'm crying over people that's not even my man. Like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? So I had like, it took a lot of prayer. It took a lot of crying. It took a lot of, who am I? I didn't know who I was. I'm seeking my identity through men. I'm seeking my identity through social media. I'm seeking my identity through this world. That if somebody was to ask me a year ago, what are 5 things that you love about yourself that aren't I'm funny or I dress nice, I would not be able to tell them because I didn't know who I was. So it took a lot of that for me to be like, okay, let me hold myself accountable. I can't blame anybody else for how they're treating me because they're only treating me what I allow. So if I'm opening this door of give me bare minimum, don't talk to me, you talk to me this way, you treat me this way. Reflect. I had to reflect a lot. I reflect still to this day of like, okay, where did I go wrong? How did I play a part in this? So a lot of it went into like, I didn't have a relationship with God either. That was a very big thing. Like, I did not. So once I started seeing how God treated me, I realized, okay, this is how I should treat myself as well as this is how everybody else should treat me. There's no way I should accept less than what God's treating me. So that's what, it took a lot. It did.
Do you feel like it take, before anybody gets on a clear road to change, it's going to be going back. And then you reach that point in your road to where you mentally realize that I'm going to stop doing this and I want to start doing this, but you still go back. So it's like, I know that I'm done with this situationship with you. You stop talking to him for 2 weeks and then you hanging out with him again. Fuck, I shouldn't have hung out with him again.
Yes.
Then you keep it in your mind. I'm really done with this. I know this person ain't serving me. I'm not getting nothing out of this. You're not really entertained with me. You're telling yourself this, but you keep going back multiple times until you leave and get off on that clear path. When you finally got off on that clear path and you was like by yourself, you ain't having no pointless texting with people, how did it feel?
It was peaceful. It's
Mhm.
scary though. Like that's the thing cuz you get so content with being by yourself. Like you
Mhm.
start loving yourself in a different way.
Mhm.
Like you don't worry about what anyone thinks of you. You don't
Mhm.
compare yourself to nothing. You're not looking for validation. You're literally content with in your own world. I was way more productive.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
had way more control over my emotions.
Mhm.
So with that happening, it took a minute, and then once it happened of me being by myself and that peace, like I can go home, go to sleep, wake up, not have to. Why didn't you text me? Why didn't you calling me? I don't have to deal with
When I
that.
tell you, like you ain't, and then you notice, wait, if I was to be dealing with so and so, I would be waiting for so and so to come over at 8.
Yes.
And I took, you know what thing? I felt like I knew
Hmm.
once I birthed my son, I was out of that era
Hmm.
of like um hanging out with somebody pointlessly. Cause I'm a person to where
Absolutely.
I want my son with me. I don't want him
Hmm.
going nowhere. So I'm damn sure not about to be in a situation where like, okay, we gotta hang out, but I don't want my kid around, so I gotta drop him off. I ain't let
Yes.
him go. So I knew once I had him, he was gonna be stuck to my hip, that all of that was over. Because I
Yes.
ain't
What we talk about?
for real.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I wanted to. I was so excited to speak on this topic with you.
Yes.
Cause I remember like within the last year or two,
Hmm.
I was still like settling, like hanging
Hmm.
out with a motherfucker I shouldn't have been. Person
Absolutely.
clearly don't like me. They're not a gentleman. And then like your memes, you would always just post about like proper relationships,
Yeah.
relationships that's surrounded by God.
Hmm.
And I would always think like she's really like content, like you're really by yourself. And I was like,
Yeah.
I can't wait till I get there. And
Yeah.
I've gotten there, so I'm so happy.
I'm glad.
Like
Congratulations, girl. It's
really,
peaceful, ain't it? It's
yeah,
so much. Yes.
it
And it
really
seems like
is.
you thrive. Like once you cut off that
Hmm.
dead weight from a man that is
Hmm.
not serving you, it seems like you thrive so much. I don't know what
Hmm.
it is. Like they be blocking God's blessing for you. But as soon as you listen, you like, let him go, let him go. You
Hmm.
just start feeling more alive,
Yeah.
especially dealing with people. That was another thing. I dealt with people that haven't healed from their trauma, or they were
Hmm.
toxic, or they was on completely different paths, and I was hoping that, oh, I come into their life they would change, but I
Hmm.
can't change nobody that don't want to change. So once I realized like, okay, we not talking about nothing, we can't relate
Hmm.
about nothing that is more efficient to both of us. How are we going to grow together? We're not growing together. So I had to
Right.
outgrow a lot of people, and I had to leave a lot of people alone for me
Right.
to thrive. So I love that for you.
Now, so I see like the comments where people are like, okay, don't chase nothing, let it attract to you, and
Hmm.
let God bring you somebody.
Hmm.
So I know like when people do like the bargaining
Hmm.
with like God, with something happen, like okay, if I do like if you get me out of this situation, I'm gonna start doing
Yeah.
this, I'm gonna start doing that. So it's like they kind of bargain with the relationships too. It's
Hmm.
like people like fake tell themselves, okay, so I know the saying, let God bring me somebody. Okay, I'm gonna stay single for like 1 year. Then you single for 1 year. Okay, I did what God wanted me to do. Now he gonna bring me somebody.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen like that.
Absolutely.
And that's what I was noticing. Like I was like, I just wanted to hit my 1 year of celibacy, of
Hmm.
being by myself. I want to see what it feels like. Cause like, you know, when you're a teen and you get to like texting people, and
Hmm.
that's you notice years go by and that's all you doing is just texting,
Yes.
like and talking to people. What does it feel like to have a moment in your life where it's nobody that you're dealing with romantically? And
Yeah.
so it's like, what do you have to say to those people who think it's gonna come like that? Like, okay, I've been by myself for I don't know 6 months. Okay, God's about to bring me somebody.
Hmm.
Like, of course they're still gonna have to wait. It's not gonna happen like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would say that there's like a story in the Bible. I don't know if you read it yet. It's with Rachel, Leah, and what is his name? Jacob. Rachel, Leah, and Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I'm gonna give you a quick little rundown. Jacob wanted Rachel, but Rachel's father tricked him for working 7 years before he can get Rachel. After he worked the 7 years, he didn't get Rachel. He got the older daughter, Leah. Then he was like, I want Rachel. So he already got Leah, but he was like, no, I came for Rachel. So that's what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel's father was like, okay, you got to work for me another 7 years. 14 years he waited for Rachel. So I guess I put that in perspective of your partner ain't going to come, might not come tomorrow. Partner might not come out 2 years from now, might not come from 3. Do not rush the process, because once you interfere with God's plan for you,
Mm-hmm.
you will mess up yourself. Like, and that's what a big thing is. A lot of people be like, save me from me. Like, I ask God all the time, save me from me, because my desires, I'm human at the end of the day. My desires my wants, what I feel like is my needs, can interrupt the plan that God has for me. So when it
Mhm.
comes to me, I feel like a lot of people, they don't even necessarily want a partner. They want the companionship. Don't
Mhm.
let companionship trick you out your spot with what God has planned for you. Like you interrupt you communicating with, let's say, Joseph. You communicate with Joseph. He's not the man for you. Whole time, if you would have waited a little bit more longer, you could have got your husband. But you was being impatient because you feel like, oh, a year went past. I should have a man right now. You could have waited a year and 2 weeks, and that man that God assigned to you would have been right there. So I would
Mhm.
say, stay strong, have faith, pray a lot, and get you a community of women, men. Even if for men, get you a community of men. Even if you want to have platonic friendships with the other gender, under other gender, do not let the lust or
Yeah. Mhm.
the wanting of companionship or feeling lonely interrupt what God has destined for you.
I'm like just now like kind of understanding that
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like I was the person who was in my way for a long time. Like I
Yes.
would have been the person like, okay, I've been single for like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm about to like start back. I'm gonna answer so and so's text message.
Yeah.
Now look at you. You done fucked up. Thinking you was gonna change this person this time. All the
Yeah.
fuck you got was the same shit you got last time.
Yep.
And you let one day of talking thinking, oh my God, maybe this is gonna be it. Like no.
That's what it be.
Yes.
I
And
went through
so
that. I literally just went through that. Like, and it's like because I have not been patient, I was not waiting on God. And I'm like, okay, like we can start off as friends, and that's how they get you. One thing, once you're walking with God, the enemy is going to try to attack you. The enemy is
mhm.
going to try to throw people that may look like heaven sent to you. Whole time it's him in sheep's clothing. Like it's crazy. Like you cannot. You have to stay strong. Like if they are not feeding you the way that God feeds you, if they're interrupting your journey with God, like if you know that okay, I do Bible study at this time, and that person's like, come see me at 7:30, and you know you do Bible study at 8 o'clock, that ain't for you. If that man is not praying for you, like it's so many things that you can tell someone's not for you. If they are causing you to act a way that you usually don't act, or they're quick to try to jump into a relationship or quick to try to jump in your pants, they not for you. They
Mm.
not. Girl, it's a journey. Like I literally just went through that literally thinking like, okay, I've been chilling, like cool, maybe this may be the one, entertaining that person,
Mhm.
and not what I thought he was. I'm like literally trying to give me the bare minimum. And I'm like, no, I
Mhm.
already know what the bare minimum is. I know what that feels like, and I know that's not what I deserve. So
Mhm.
you couldn't even bring me flowers. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing?
So how do you cut somebody off?
um, Sometimes I just block. I don't feel a need for explanation sometimes.
Mhm.
That's one thing I used to do is continue pointless relationships, conversations, and to not hurt the other person's feelings. I was so
Right.
big on, I don't want them to think this of me. I don't want to. No, like I don't
Mhm.
care. Like I don't, especially if you look. I'm not no one's girlfriend, and today actually asked me
Ask
out
you
privately
right.
to be their girlfriend. So if we ain't even crossed that stage, I don't owe you no explanation. You
Mhm.
just sometimes I do if I have built a genuine relationship with them, and I could see a friendship. I would be like, okay, explain them, hey, I don't think we're compatible, or we're not on the same path. I think we should step aside, or we can. Friendship is open, but if you don't feel like you can be friends with me, let me know that, and I completely remove myself. Now, somebody that I ain't got that connection with, no, I just
Mhm.
block them. Like I don't owe you no explanation because you wasting my time. You know what you're doing. You
Mhm.
wasting my time.
So have you, as you've grown older, do you see
hmm
like a difference in like, because sometimes everybody has their type that they go for,
hmm
and like I feel like most of us in our young days, with us being all into rap music and this certain type of lifestyles,
Yes.
you dating the street dudes.
Yes.
So have you like dated someone different, or like are you into those type? Like I know you're
Yeah.
not, because I mean you post about it, duh.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, have you went outside like of like your normal type yet? And did you like it when you did it? Or was it like,
Yeah. I think that's something I'm still struggling with. Well, like I think I can see the change in my type. When I was younger, I went for the flashy jewelry, somebody
mm-hmm,
who had the money, nice car, like that's what I, that's what I was going for. But as I became a mother, as I matured, and as I've held myself as a woman of God, I tend to like I don't want nobody in the street. That's number one.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need nobody. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Now, like, if you're like a football player, basketball player, I don't care if you're a businessman. Like, I really don't have necessarily
Yeah.
a type when it comes to occupation or
Maybe I mean not like that, but like the lifestyle. You know.
lifestyle. Yes, I don't want a man that's always in a club. Like,
Mhm.
I want a man that knows that he wants to be in a family. Not
Mhm.
saying when he first meet me, it's like, okay, he's on one knee, let's get married. But he knows where he wants to go. I want a man like what I desire now is a man. We arguing or something, like he was like, hold on, babe, we bust out, we praying or something. Like we not about to keep
Mhm.
arguing. What's the
Yeah.
point? What's the solution? Like
Mhm.
I hold a lot, like I want a lot of maturity. I
Mhm.
like someone that has healed from their past. Like
Mhm.
don't come with no trauma. Like I can't.
That's something else I meant. So like I feel like when you're younger and in your teenage years, you got the certain dudes who like y'all talking.
hmm
And their hangout is hang out at your house, hang out at their house, but they don't
yeah.
want to properly ask you out. Have
Yeah.
you experienced somebody to properly like ask you out to a place or like a even
Yes.
something simple as the park? Or is it
Yes.
still like they want you to come to them?
So one thing I've learned, sometimes because I used to have the mindset you are what you attract, but
Mm-hmm.
I changed that. It's kind of you are what you accept because when you're a beautiful
Right.
person, you're gonna attract people that come from all different types of ways, lifestyles, mindsets, whatever. It's only
Mm-hmm.
what you accept into your life is what you are.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been guys that, oh, I'm trying to come over and chill. I don't chill. Like I let them. I don't chill. I don't know what chilling is. And me even having
Right.
to tell you that you're gone.
Right.
Like,
Because it's like, and then I'm
go.
not even the type to where, like,
Why are you coming to me
if
like
they
that?
if it is a date and y'all want to chill at the house, let's like on the first date watch a movie. But then like
Yeah.
we ain't it ain't leading to nothing else. The problem is with y'all, y'all know what chilling is. You
Uh-huh.
trying to jump in the bed, you trying to spend the night, you trying to
Yeah.
do that. I don't know you like that. Or like, you know,
Absolutely. And that's one thing I be having to cut out because, like, can you pull up on me? No, I can't. Like, we can go out, we can go to the park, we can meet at a park, we can go grab drinks, we can go grab some food. I'll pay for my own food. If that's what, I don't know what guys, some guys have the mindset of taking a woman out on a date means that y'all in a relationship. Like, they don't know how to court nowadays, they don't know how to
right? And
actually
like, oh,
date.
I can't. They don't want to be in public with you because like what? I
So
guess you going
right, like, so what's the point of us talking? Like, I'm not trying to say that you're my man already, but I cannot. No, what it like? No, girl, I'm telling you, it be all kind of guys that like, and I'm like, I don't even present myself the way that you feel like you can just come over and lay up with me and chill with me on the
You
first
don't.
day.
But
So,
that okay, that's the thing that I'm getting into. I feel
hmm
like with dudes, they reach for women that's way outside their league. Like it could be somebody on Facebook, he taking
hmm
pictures with thousands of guns, all his money out. And okay, if you're gonna study a person and chase after them, more than likely you're like studying the type of person they are, you know.
uh-huh,
So if I'm some street nigga that's posting all these guns, why would I go for you? And I know you post Bible verses, you
man,
post Bible study, you post that you're in college. It's like they go for women like that. And it's like,
man.
why are you doing that for? Because they don't care to fuck up what you got.
Yes, it's
That's
like
why.
I feel like men have this thing of wanting what they can't get. They love to chase. They love to chase. They love the thrive of, oh, I can't get her or this type of woman that is out of my league. So let me keep trying. But once they get her, they completely fall off.
Then
Like
they start asking you if shit that like they know that isn't
exactly
with your lifestyle. Like, oh, you gonna put this gun in your purse, bitch? Are you stupid?
crazy. Like
Like,
out your you got to be out your mind.
oh, you in the nursing field? You got some perks, bitch? No.
They
You, I mean, I ain't never been
that's
asked
the
that, but I'm saying that's
that's
the type of
probably what
stuff
they
like
were.
with her being in the army. That what comes to mind to like a dude that's in the streets. Oh, guns. Oh, you know how to
Yeah.
shoot an AK.
Yeah. Like I be like, sir, no, I don't. I don't. I'm sorry. Like, and I be having to let people know. Me and my mom actually have this conversation. Like, cause I don't date nobody in the streets. I'm not taking no charge for you.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie. I might snitch on you. I'm sorry. I got a child. Like, what I have going on. That's why I don't even deal with those type of guys because I
Mm.
can't even put myself in that vicinity of, damn. Now it's like my life or yours or it's
No.
so much that's happened within these last 2 years when it comes with women dealing with certain guys,
Mm.
especially in Louisville. Yeah, no, I
Yep.
cannot.
Away from that.
You can't
No.
even get a high from me. I'm not gonna lie, but that same thing, you don't. You out in public. Some guys don't know how to handle rejection. Like they crazy.
Right.
So it's like
Mhm.
women be going through so much. Like it's either okay, you give them your number, you block them, or you say no, and you might get cracked or something. Like, I
Right.
don't know. It's crazy.
But then that's the next thing. I'm like, okay, so what area do I have to be in to like find one? Because it's like most of my family's in the West End. I'm more than likely to be in the West End.
Right.
Or I go to work in a healthcare setting. But I mean,
Yeah.
where you going? When people do find one, where is it at? Like, I don't hang out at bars, so I can't like meet somebody at a bar randomly. Like stuff
So
like
let me
that.
tell you this, girl. I'm not gonna lie. I would say lunchtime, happy hour, bars, hotels, like hotel
Bars.
Yeah. Something that's not club. Like
Right.
that, I would say, like, girl, I be looking up on TikTok too. Cause I be wanna, like, I'm trying to elevate and I ain't trying to attract down here. I want someone that is
Right.
equal, a little bit higher, I ain't gonna lie. So like I wanna go to like a golf course, like stuff like that. I look up certain out of town. I don't know if my soulmate's in Louisville. I'm not in
Right.
Kentucky in general. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think it is. But
Mhm.
I would say things that sometimes Black people call the white spots is where you need to go.
Which I like going there. What?
Me too. Yeah, I
I'm
don't
going
need all of
anywhere.
that.
What? I'm going.
And I'm gonna have a good time. And I'm gonna meet people and I'm gonna socialize. Like they be crazy.
Yeah, I'm versatile. I like doing it all.
Me too. I meet some of the best people in areas that are not strictly just my people. Like they be so wholehearted and so many opportunities. Like you start having a conversation with somebody and next thing you know, they like, hey, here, I got a job position at my office, or hey, you know, I think you should be invited to this kind of club or whatever, and I'm gonna go. Like, hey.
Right. So this is what we have to touch on something else. So we already been talking about like Christ and God. What I want to get into is like your beginning with that journey. Like when did this come in? Like everybody has a way that they're like that they get saved and that they're like, okay, I'm going to pick the Bible up and get into it, and then like boom, you're into it. When did that come into play for you?
I would say late 2020. But I haven't always been consistent since then. Though. That's the thing. Like I would be on my word for, about a good month or two, and then something happens where I just fall off and go back to my old ways, and I'm like, okay, nah, I don't like that feeling. I know I'm doing wrong. Let me pick it back up. So I would say late 2020, and then I realized like I thought once I was like, okay, I'm living for God now. I'm living for Christ. That my life was gonna be smooth as ice, like. And I realized that's not reality. Once you decide to literally leave something that's bad for you alone and walk in the light, the darkness gonna try to attack you. Like the enemy is gonna try to get you off your pedestal and try to switch your mindset to walk with him. It's like you're literally starving out your flesh. Something that used to feed you in a certain way, you literally have to die that down. And it's not an easy road. And when I say it's not easy, I'm not saying that it's impossible. It's just saying that it's a little bit harder and it takes a lot more faith for you to be strong enough to fully walk with God.
So, and then let's see. I got some more questions.
Yeah, you're fine.
Hit on. Dang it, we weren't supposed to be hitting this area of like blankness no more. Okay, that's what I could get into. Like getting into the Bible and then understanding it and applying it to your life. How do you like catch yourself doing that on a daily basis?
So one thing that's helped a lot is prayer. Like when I tell you I pray all the time, like when I'm going through something, I'm going through road rage, I'm praying to, relieve his anger, let me have a little bit more patience, or like even before coming here, said a quick little prayer. It wasn't that loud, but I'm saying so I'm talking to God and he's able to receive what I'm saying. And if I feel like I'm not understanding when it comes to Bible study, I say a prayer of just basically helping me understanding on more below the surface level and to use like discernment and gain wisdom for it. Because I could read the Bible all day. Like I could read scriptures all day, but if I'm not actually taking what I'm reading and implementing it to my life, like I don't gossip. I don't get drunk. I may grab a drink, but I don't get drunk to the point where I'm blacked out or I'm becoming this whole totally different person. I try to work on the way that I speak. Like I don't cuss. I don't surround myself by people that does not feed into me spiritually. And I feel like a lot of it, a lot of people like say have a lot of bad things to say about the Bible. Some people have a lot of good things to say. But it's literally a roadmap to live a peaceful life. Like you're literally, because like you said, a lot of things that happens to us are self-inflicted. We cause these things on our own. So
Mm-hmm.
once you realize, like, to be peaceful, to forgive, to be happy, to do things like that, to seek, when you're angry, seek God before you seek drugs or drinks or men or whatever the case may be, you'll see that your life is a lot more peaceful.
Mm-hmm. So how do you, so you said like all the things that you don't do, just like
Mm-hmm.
that you live by the Bible. How do you feel when you run into like the person who does practice Christianity, but they still have like a bad habit of those things? Like some people are still like gossipy,
Mm-hmm.
but they go to church every Sunday. They go to Bible
Right.
study.
Yeah. With me being able to relate to that, I kind of just like, I'm not judgmental on it because I can
Yeah.
understand that there
Okay.
was times where, I'm saying I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and the next night, like, I go to the club one night and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to church. Don't even go to church. Or I do go to the club one night, I got messed up drunk, and then I still show up to church. I can't
Mm-hmm.
really judge nobody's walk because you never know what they have going on
Mm-hmm.
individually with God. And that's why I'm not super religious. I'm
Mm-hmm.
more of having a personal, intimate relationship with Christ because people struggle. It is hard to turn your life around. Like, it is for you to be living this way for, let me say, 22 years. And I'm like, okay, now I'm about to live with God. Like, and that's already 22 years of me being conditioned to live this way, to gossip. I'm cussing, I'm listening to certain music, or I'm doing this, I'm going here, I'm doing that, whatever, to finally wanting to change and walk right. People get tested, people fall back sometimes. I would just say, like, continue to recognize
Mm-hmm.
where you fell off and pray harder in that moment to be relieved from that, because it's not impossible, it's not easy, but you're able to do it.
Yeah. Got it. So, when you, so let's say like, because I'm like around Christians and stuff, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like the one person that I know, like she go to church every Sunday and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, but she's not the person who's like kind of like pushing it like on other people. It's like
Mm-hmm.
if you go, then like it is what it is. If you don't, like maybe
Mm-hmm.
you should, but like I'm not pushing it on you. How are you with like do you like try to get your friends to join that journey, or is it kind of like whatever if it's not their thing?
No, I do. I be trying to invite them, but
Mm-hmm.
they not. I don't know what they got going on. They not there, I guess, yet. But I'm not like, if you don't go to church, you don't have a real relationship with God. Like, I'm not like that because
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
at first I didn't go to church, and I feel like God had to get me to a point where I'm first able to have that relationship with Him before I could be surrounded by a whole community of people
Who
that already
is?
had their relationship with them. Like, I have to
Mm-hmm.
be good with Him first. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't go every Sunday. I don't feel like if you go to church every Sunday, you're super saved, holy, the best Christian in God's eyes, because those be the same people that go every Sunday that turn around and gossip, or they gossiping
Mm-hmm.
in church, or they trying to come best dressed. Their mindset isn't fixated on God, it's fixated on showing out for the world or whatever. So, I mean, like I said, if my friends go, they go. If they don't, hopefully they get to a place they can go. But
Yeah.
I'm understanding on it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good interview. So let the viewers know where to find you if you want them to connect with you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at the number 4EBERTAYBEIL. Forever Tayville.
All right. Yep.
Thank you.
And so yeah, we actually still got 6 minutes.
Okay,
So,
that's cool.
but yeah,
That's
that was
cool.
fun.
It was. Thank you. This
I
was
want to start
cool.
going longer than an hour with people.
Yeah.
Well, some questions it's like with some people, it's like, all right, an hour was good. I got in all I wanted to ask. But then we started getting off on a tangent. And I'm like, fuck, I want more than this hour.
Yeah. It's a good talks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's very refreshing. That's cool though. I'm
Yeah.
excited you brought me. Hopefully I touch some people.
Mm-hmm. You know what? When I say like I was happy that you said yes, I overthink certain guests. So I'm like, nah, this person ain't going to come on. You shouldn't ask. I'm like, maybe she's not going to want to do this. But then I see you like post some of the people that you watch, and I'm like, she would love to get on the platform and
Yeah.
then like
Absolutely.
talk about some stuff. Yeah.
That's all I try to like. My social media is filled with nothing but like positive people. If I see something that I'm like, I know that this is like feeding who I used to be, or it's like changing my mindset on certain things. I'm like, oh no, you gotta go. Like,
You know what? I'm starting to realize that it's like when I see certain people post, It's like,
Mhm.
you know what? I need to do away with you and just
Yeah.
like only follow like basically the people that I interview in the podcast. Because the people that I bring on here is the type of people I want to follow. Like
Exactly.
sometimes it just like Facebook, for
Yeah.
instance. Sometimes that site gets too far off on the negative side. And I'm like, I can't
Messy.
do it. Like
Yeah.
once I read a post and my adrenaline's rushing and I'm pissed, like,
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'm
I
done.
be
I
unfriending
can't do
people
it.
quick, and I think like one thing I've learned, my mom actually brought me to that is like monitoring spirits.
Mm-hmm.
People literally will watch your page like on a negative note to just
Mm-hmm.
like see what you're doing, or okay, let me see if I still have access to that person. Let me send a quick little message, see if they respond, or not for motivational purposes or not for positivity. Like people really be watching just to watch the. I don't know what people be going through.
I feel like you're a person who, like, whatever friendships you had, like, younger in life, you still got them. Is that true? Or, like, did you actually have, like, people that
Whew.
you had to let go of?
Girl, I don't let go of so many people.
Really?
Like I don't the people I used to be friends with, I'm no longer friends with. One thing that helped, I guess, shift that is I did get pregnant at 17. I was in high school, so
Mhm.
I had to mature a lot faster. They was still like wanting to party and stuff like that. I couldn't do that. And then like as I became an adult, they were like messy. Like we either like fell out over something or it was just I don't know. No, I have one friendship with Nautica that we've been friends since like what 2016 now. So it's been a little minute. And then I have some friends that I've made from the military that we're friends
Yeah.
with. So I have more adult, mature friendships now rather
Mhm.
than the immature ones.
Yep. That's good.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know. Look, we still got time, and I'm over here like we just having our own talk
I
now.
know. So like, how's your journey with God going? How is it? Is it different? Like,
I just feel like for one, I'm making steps
mm-hmm.
to get there.
Yeah,
So like for one, what helped me was like having certain people push that content
yeah,
and like steady post it. I was like, okay, I want to like see
yeah.
like get into it like Megan Ashley.
Yes,
Watching her,
good.
I started watching her podcast with B Simone, and then when I got into her own content, that's kind of like the base of what she posts.
Yeah,
So I
it's
was
really
like,
good.
okay. And then another thing was like reading. I'm big on reading,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was at work and like I don't know who it was, if it was a patient or somebody,
Yeah,
but they dropped off like a stack of like mini Bibles. And I'm like, how in the hell you big on reading, but you haven't read this one book that everybody else read?
yeah,
So I just started like going through like the handheld Bible, just
yeah.
highlighting it.
Mm-hmm.
And then just this past like Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm gonna just go get I want the real big one. And it's kind of like
Yeah.
what how my influence is like I'll just search up something on TikTok and I want to get more into it. So I
Mm-hmm.
start looking up Bible studies
Yeah.
and stuff. And I opened it up and then I'm on like the first book, which is Genesis.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I got it. Now I'm obsessed to like finish it
Yeah.
and know what it means. And
It's so long. Not gonna lie, Genesis is long. It's worth it though. That's how when I first started reading the Bible, like if I go back to how I used to take notes to
mm-hmm,
how I take notes. It's literally you're gonna see the growth and you're gonna look back and be like, dang, like I've grown so much with understanding on how to read it. Because there's time like I read it from I think I did like from beginning and then I stopped midway. And I was like, okay, I'm reading it, I'm grasping some things, but how can I implement this into my life? Like I got
that's what I want
lost.
to ask you. Yeah, he's still recording. So you know how like when people bring up a verse, it's like say if like I don't know, me and you into it, or like maybe we're just having a simple
Mm-hmm.
conversation, and I'm trying to point out something wrong that you done, and I'm like, they're like, you ain't never read in the Bible, this, and this happened. It's like easy to like see something in somebody, and they'd be like, yeah, in the Bible, God talked about people like you. Has it been a moment where you're reading the Bible, but it triggers something that you noticed in you instead of
Mm-hmm.
somebody else?
Absolutely. When it came to one thing I struggled with so bad was like fornication, so having sex without marriage. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh gosh, I struggled with that so bad, and then like the gossiping and stuff, and it's so much of like, you know,
You fine.
they're like, you know, basically just saying like, you're not honoring your temple, you're not honoring yourself,
Mm-hmm.
basically just saying like you give your body to anybody. I'm like, it's harsh reality because I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, that's something I struggle with. So being able to read that and seeing how that is not right and
Mm-hmm.
what it's doing, it made me honor myself and my body so much more of like, this is my temple, literally. And I
Mm-hmm.
can't just be letting anybody walk up in here because that's not what it's for. So
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of times, there's so many times. And then
Mhm.
like now when it comes to how I study the Bible, I literally go over things that I know that I need to work on and that I've been struggling with. Like I've done idolatry.
I'm
I've done
sorry.
idolatry, and it's just like I really didn't know what that means. But once I seen that, it was like once I read and it was like basically you're putting things above God, whether it's money, whether it's social media, whether it's friends, boyfriend, relationship, whatever the case may be. I was like, okay, dang, this is what I struggle with because I'm always like I was in a relationship and I literally would miss out on my Bible study or not go to church because I was dealing with this specific man who didn't have a relationship with God.
Mhm.
Or I'm supposed to be doing my Bible study right now, but I'm on TikTok scrolling. Like I'm literally putting things that before the set time that I said, okay, this is for me and God. Literally putting that before them. So that's pretty much all my Bible study goes over what I'm struggling with and how to grow from it.
I like that.
Yeah.
See, that's good. I'm so happy about this segment.